guys, Kelly here, and I want to share with you some books I'm going to read for the rest of the summer. I'm not doing like official like July and August TBRs because there's some readathons I want to do later in the summer that I'll do like individual TBR videos for. And also Goodreads had this summer reading challenge on their website, and I really liked some of the prompts, so I wanted to use that to kind of guide my reading because I want to read some books that are more new releases or more things that are I don't like own, so I don't like think about all the time. And there are more audiobooks because I will be moving a lot in July, so I'll be doing all those kind of tasks. And so of these, the majority, probably 90% of them, are audiobooks. But that helps me like go out of my comfort zone and do some newer books or authors I haven't read before and stuff like that. So if you haven't checked out the Goodreads summer reading program challenge thing, I will link to it down below. They had both a beginner course and like an advanced one to follow. I'm just going to do the prompts from the beginning one, just so because the advanced one, like, you do all the beginning one and you add in the advanced, and that way if I run out of time because I have other things I want to read too, then I won't put pressure on myself to read all of the things. But if, you know, there's still time at the end of the summer, I can always add in the advanced ones. So here are the prompts and what I'm going to read. So the first one is Good as Gold. Read a book from the Goodreads Choice Award. And it didn't specify what year, but I am going to read something from last year's, which is Elevation by Stephen King. This one in the horror category in 2018, though I've heard everybody that's reviewed it say it's not actually horror, but it's actually better for me because I don't like straight off horror books, and I wanted to give Stephen King more chances because I haven't always liked everything I've read by him, and this is a shorter, like a novella, and I know I can get it on Scribd in audio, so I'm going to check that out. The next one is The Book is Better, something that is being adapted this year. And I actually had 3 different books that I might read for this. I just can't decide, and it might be that like when something comes out and we decide we want to go see the movie, I might just read the book before we go and see the movie or rent the movie or whatever. So I'll probably do one of these 3. One is The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. This is going to become a movie this year, and this is the beginning of a trilogy. And I've really liked Patrick Ness in the past, so I did want to read this, and so because it's getting adapted, I'm just bumping up when I want to read it. The next one is Where'd You Go, Bernadette by Maria Simple. I tried reading this book like a year ago. I got about 100 pages in and I put it down. I wasn't like disliking it, but I wasn't really into it at the time. But now that the movie is either coming out or already out, I want to pick it back up again. I do own this book. I'm not going to go get all the books I own though because my daughter's asleep in that room. And then the other one that I might read is The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. This was also become like a romantic movie, and so if I decide to go see that movie or rent it or whatever, then I will go ahead and read it first, and that one probably will read pretty fast. The next prompt is Short and Sweet, a book that's less than 100 pages. And actually has 3 of them, but since when you actually add all 3 of these together, I think one is only like 100 pages and the other 2 put together make 100 pages. So they're very short, and they're all ones I want to get to, but I have a tendency not to pick up short audiobooks because I think, oh, you know, I'm wasting a Scribd credit, but then other times I don't end up using all my Scribd credits, so I'm just going to go ahead and read these books on audio. The first one is And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer by Frederick Bachman. This is a novella, I think, about a grandfather who has Alzheimer's, and I have been wanting to read this for a long time. I hear it's super sad, but I'm just going to push through and let myself cry. And the other 2 are both by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I want to read her We Should All Be Feminist book, and then the one that's Dear Ijueli, or A Feminist Manifesto and 15 Suggestions. These 2 put together only make 100 pages, so I think I can listen to them in like an hour or so that should be great and easy to get in. The next prompt is On the Bandwagon. Read a most read book right now on Goodreads. And I looked at the list, and there are actually 3 of them that I really want to listen to. All 3 are audiobooks that I would like to get to, so I'll choose one of these. First is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. This is a debut novel from this, and I've heard only good things about this book. The next one is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. everybody read this in 2018, and I didn't read it back then because I just don't always want to read a hype book right when it's being hyped, because then I might get disappointed if I like give into the hype. So now that it's been a few months since everybody's been talking about it, I'm ready to listen to this book. And plus I just read Daisy Jones and the Six, so I want to check out more by that author. And then the last one is Becoming by Michelle Obama. I really want to get to this book, and I heard that she narrates her own audiobook. So at some point I would like to read this. So all three of those I really want to read, but hopefully I'll get to them over the summer. The next prompt is actually want to read a book that has been on your want to read shelf on Goodreads for more than a year. So both of these are books I own and I've been meaning to get to, so I would like to get to one of these. The first is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. You know, this is a modern classic. I haven't seen the show or anything, but I would really like to read it, especially since I think the sequel's coming out this year. So I want to get to this now. And the other one is the book called One by Sarah Crossan. And this is another book I own, and it is a book in verse, and I just sometimes don't pick up books in verse. It's about conjoined twins, and so I do want to read it. I just need a push to read a book about it written in verse. The next prompt is not from around here. Read a book set in a different culture from your own. And for this one, I want to read Love from A to Z by S.K. Ali. And this book is, the main character is Muslim, and I believe she goes to visit a relative in Qatar for her spring break, so most of it is taking place in Qatar, so I thought that worked for that prompt. And I've heard really great things about this. My friend Kara from Wild Book Garden has been talking about how amazing it was, and then I've heard some other reviews on BookTube, and it sounds like a really good book, both like a romance, but then as well some really deep issues from both main characters. The next prompt is In the Friendzone, a book that a friend has recommended. And I decided to go with a book that a in real life friend recommended to me instead of a BookTube friend. And that is This Is How It Always Is by Lori Frankel. I do own this book, and this is about a child who is transgender and telling their parents. I don't know which pronouns they use, so I will look forward to reading this story. I've heard it's really great. The next prompt is It Takes Two, a co-authored book, and my buddy read group that I read a lot of books with is in July is going to read Roomies by Christina Lauren, who are a writing duo, so that'll count for that. And I'm going to listen to the audiobook because I like to read their books on audio. The next one is Wheel of Format. Read a book in a format you don't usually read. I don't read a lot of graphic novels, so that's what I'm going to do. I own one graphic memoir that I haven't gotten to. It's called Cancer Vixen, and it is written by Marisa Acochello Marchetto, and this is a nonfiction graphic memoir, so I'm really interested to read about that one. The next one is New Voices, Read a Debut Novel, and I am going to listen to The Flat Chair by Beth O'Leary. This is a romance book. I've heard good things. It sounds really cute, and I already have the audiobook from my library. The next one is Past Love, reread a book that you loved when you were younger, and I'm hoping to read some of the books of Bayern by Shannon Hale. The first one is The Goose Girl. There's 4 books in this series, so I don't know if I'll get all 4 read. They are like middle grade or young adult kind of books, so I can get probably several of them, but I don't want to promise that I'll read the whole series yet. And the last one is Armchair Traveler. Read a book that's set in a destination that you want to visit, and I have 2 choices for this. One is a book I can get on audiobook, which is Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch, which is a YA romance which I believe takes place in Italy, which I would like to see Italy someday. And then the other one is a book I own, which is Graffiti Moon by Kath Crowley, and this takes place in Australia, and I have been to Australia many times, but I would go like many more times if I could, so it's always a place I want to visit. So those are all the books for the Goodreads Summer Reading Challenge that I want to read. If you've read some of these, let me know what you thought about them down below, especially the ones where I have multiple choices for the same prompt. Let me know which one you think I should read. I might end up reading all these books eventually, but I don't know if I'll get to them all, in the summer months. Keep in mind summer lasts till midway through September, so I will go past probably August with some of these if I can't get them done. And that's all for now. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.